Hey everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. My name is Mihran Kirakosian. Today's video is way overdue. I've been getting a lot of messages and comments from beginners who are just subscribing to my channel. So I thought this video will be very helpful for anyone who's just starting out, or even if you've been dancing for a little bit but don't have a good understanding of music structure. Today I'm going to focus on teaching you guys on how to count music. Now the benefit of knowing how to count music makes it way more easier for you to pick up choreography and also to be able to teach choreography and eventually create your own choreography. So what's an 8 count? In dance, dancers put numbers to time the music. Now remember, not all music uses an 8 count, but most of the commercial music we dance to today uses an 8 count. An 8 count is a dance term, but in musical terms it's called a 4/4 time signature. So there is 4 beats in each bar, so 2 bars create an 8 count, and dancers count music in 8 counts. So to get a better understanding, let me show you what I mean with music. When I'm teaching choreography to kids, I usually try to teach one dance step on each beat. This allows a beginner dancer to kind of pick up the steps faster and easier without any confusion, especially if they're just starting out. So let's count together one full 8 count with music. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's just a simple 8 count without anything in the middle. You're just counting every single beat. For more intermediate choreography, you could add an end count in between the snare. The snare is your even counts, 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's count it together with music. So we'll go like this. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Again, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Good. Now, if you want to get a little bit more advanced, add an end count in between every count. So it would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and without any stops, okay? Let's try that with music now. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and. So every time you're adding an end count in between the music and the gaps, that's just allowing you to put in more choreography steps into the beat. The beat never changes, it always stays in that 8 count, and as you could tell, the tempo is always the same, but you as a dancer or a choreographer are starting to add a little bit more steps in between the counts to make your choreography a little bit more complex. Now, if you want to get even more complex and more advanced, you could add 2 more points in each beat. Usually dancers like to call this en or ena. I like to say ena because it's just easier for my tongue. When I'm doing it fast, it would be something like this. Here we go. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a. So when I'm counting like that, even though, again, nothing changes in the music, the tempo is the same, the beat is riding the same exact way, you're just starting to move faster. So all the ana is all these extra steps that go in between the beats, which makes the choreography way more advanced, way more complex. And if you're on that level, that's how you need to start creating. I've never seen it usually choreography where it just constantly keeps going with a bunch of en or ana counts, see what I mean? You do throw them in there in between certain 8 counts, which will, make it a little more complex, and then you could come and jump out and go into a groove. Now that we have a better understanding of how to count the music, when do we know when the 1 comes in? So if you listen to music, it has a lot of similar patterns. So you want to kind of like really, really listen to the music and figure out when the intro comes in, when there's the verse, when there is a hook. Hook is also the chorus. In more complex music, you have a pre-hook, you have a bridge, but again, that's kind of going really more deep into music than counting the music. So I'll play a really basic beat that we've been kind of using today, and I'll kind of explain to you as you're listening. So here we go. So as you can tell, this is your intro, right? You have the synth sounds, there's no drums yet. And now 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. good. So couple of ways to figure out, just off of what we just listened to right now, you could already kind of tell when that one comes in. So let's listen to it again. If you notice when the music starts, there's like a little crash that starts the beat, and then that crash comes back again after 2 8 counts and starts the verse. So that's just a little clue right there that every time you hear that crash, it's probably gonna be on the 1. Listen to it, it's gonna start with it right away. And then you're gonna hear that same sound again. Here we go, listen, 5, 6, 7, 8, and crash. So that should just give you a clue. Now they skipped the 1 here, and then, like I said, it repeats every 2 8s. It's gonna come again. So that's just a little clue. Now, every music is different, every beat is different, but you will find similar patterns and elements where you could find your 1 if you're still having a hard time just naturally feeling where the 1 comes in from, okay? The next thing to really listen to is your snare. The snare is the sound that's most similar to a clap. In this case, a lot of hip hop beats actually, they either use a clap sound or a snap sound. So if you listen to a lot of hip hop tracks, you're gonna probably hear the snare as a clap or as a snap. In this case, they actually used both. Some of the times you hear the clap, and some of the times the snaps come in. So that's your snare, and that happens on your even counts, which is your 2, your 4, your 6, and your 8. So let's count together, and you'll hear the snare. Here we go. So 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2. Oh, the snare is gone, but this is still your snare. Nothing changes. Now it's back. 1, 2. Now, see what they did here? Same idea, but now they use the snap. 1. So you're gonna hear these 2 sounds in, I wanna say, a lot of hip hop songs. These are the 2 sounds they use a lot for the snare. So for counting reasons, that's a good way to know that every time you hear that sound, it's gonna happen on the even counts. So that will throw you back onto the 1. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, the snare is taken out, and then it's gonna come back here again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, nothing changes in the 8 count. If you listen to the overall music pattern, it kind of just repeats. The melody repeats every 8 count. The structure repeats every 8 count. The rest is just for creative reasons. The snare is out, the snare comes in. The snaps come in instead of the snare, and then the snap goes out. That's just all for creative reasons. The rest is you just counting the music in the same pattern. Now, also, if you could listen to, another way to find the 1 is if you listen to it, they use that same snare, the clap sound, as a build-up to the 1. And it happens again after every 2 8 counts, okay? If you listen to it, there's a synth sound, and there's also the snares that are sounding like a clap, and that's your build-up to the 1. And it even happens right from the beginning when that first drums just drop in the very beginning where the verse happens. You could already feel the build-up. So let's go back to the very top. We're gonna hear that crash, and we already know that's our 1. This melody kind of just repeats. And now wait for that same snare that we were clapping. They use that as a build-up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2. It's gonna come back on the 5 and clap, clap, and back to the same thing, okay? So those are just about 3, 4 clues for you to just know how to find the 1. So you're either listening to sounds that always drop on the 1, you're listening to the build-up that could happen almost every other 8. And again, these are just little clues for you to listen to, and I think the way you'll get a better understanding is, as you know, after listening to this tutorial and trying things out, just go out and listen to different hip-hop tracks, and you'll start finding so many similar patterns. The counting will just come to you naturally. All right, guys, so that's all for today. Like I said before, the more you listen to music, the more you'll start finding those similar patterns, and you'll just get better as far as, you know, understanding music and also understanding how to count music. So if you have any questions and you feel like I missed something or there was something you did not understand, please leave all your questions in the comment box. I will get back to you ASAP. That's all for today, and I'll see you guys on the next tutorial.